I first want to be very clear about this. Lilo and Stitch is not the live action. It's not a perfect movie, and I'm not here to like fully defend it, but I am here to give it a little bit more nuance that I think is kind of missing from mass conversations about it. When I watched the movie, I was actually very worried to see it because I had heard some not so good things, but not exactly quite what was happening in the movie. So I didn't know fully what the ending was going to entail. I actually went into the movie with like pretty low expectations from the get-go because I've always had low expectations for this movie because I just don't trust Disney with anything, because I know that the point of anything that they do, whether it's Moana, Lilo and Stitch, or anything that has to do with Hawaiian or Polynesian culture, the intention is to commodify it with the purpose of selling rooms, merchandise, our culture. Something that I want to talk about and like add a little bit more context to that I think people would I don't know, that I guess the movie should have done a better job at. So as someone from Hawaii and who is Hawaiian, um I felt like I knew exactly what the writers were trying to say, what they were trying to say with this movie. I don't think they necessarily achieved it, but if they were talking to me as a Hawaiian audience, like I got it. I got what they were trying to say. And I can see how a lot of that can get lost onto an audience that may not be from Hawaii or may not fully understand some of the cultural nuances of it. For example, the concept of like Hanai family. You know, like people keep saying like, oh, she left him with a neighbor, she left him with a neighbor. It's like she did, but at the same time, like Hanai family is like, it's family. I think something equivalent that a lot of people might understand that's like not from Hawaii would be the idea of like found family. That you would treat your like found family like real actual family. That's what Hanai family is. So I think what Lilo and Stitch is trying to do is it's trying to expand on the concept of like family, that it's not just your biological family that's your family, but it's your community. Your community is your family, and that's David, that's Tutu, and it shows. I think it's meant to show that, you know, that they're doing this together. I don't think they did a good job at showing that, but I think that's what the intention was. And then the other thing I want to touch on that I think is getting like kind of like lost in translation is like Nani's decision to go to school, and like I think I do think they should have like done better at this. But the idea of going to school on the continent when you're from Hawaii is not uncommon for people from here. It's usually, I'm gonna go to school on the continent for 4 years, and the goal is to always come back. The goal is to always make a life here and come back. And that's what makes it so sad when people leave Hawaii, that they're forced to, you know, that, and even when they do, their goal is still always to come back home. This is home. This is their home. This is their mainland. So when Nani gets a offer to San Diego for full ride, it's a hard opportunity to turn down. Granted, I think the way that they went about it just like doesn't fucking make sense, but and then it's just like, it's a little bit ironic that she's going to school for marine biology when she could literally go to school for marine biology here in Hawaii. And like, granted, there's not enough time in the movie to talk about like the nuances of like what it's like to go to college here in Hawaii. Some people are saying that, you know, if she got a full ride in San Diego, it's unlikely that she would have been able to do it here in Hawaii too, and she would have been able to like go to Manoa with like scholarships or financial aid. Financial aid doesn't cover Manoa. Financial aid covers like a third of Manoa's tuition, so she would never be able to actually finish that degree at Manoa. What most people do, and what I ended up doing, was you use financial aid at the community college schools, which is still within the University of Hawaii system. You do 2 years there and you get all your prerequisites. You get it at a cheaper tuition, and then you can take all those credits, those prereq credits, and transfer them over to Manoa. And then that way you've paid, like the cheaper tuition to stretch your financial aid further. But then now the goal is like, how do I pay for the next 2 years to finish my bachelor's with the financial aid money that I have, when financial aid is actually only going to cover 1/3 of the cost of tuition, and loans are not an option. I mean, loans are an option, but loans are not an option. You know what I mean? So like, while going to school at Manoa for marine biology is an option, it's like kind of almost like not really an option unless it's getting paid for. And San Diego was paying for her tuition in full, so it's like a hard opportunity to pass up, which she did turn down because she knew she had to take care of Lilo. But yeah, there's just like not enough time in the movie to talk about like the nuances of what it entails to go to college here in Hawaii on financial aid. Scholarships are not as easy as you think it is, and yeah, like it's a grind and it's a hustle to get your college paid for here. Not only here, but like anywhere. But like, that's the thought process, or what she would have had to do had she had gone to school at Manoa for marine biology. Personally, like, what I really hated was the fact that it didn't seem like she was being like forced to give up Lilo. It seemed like she came to that decision to surrender Lilo, and like, I think that's up. And I think it makes all the difference in the world. And then I think it also changes the context of the Aloha Oi song. And even though it did like make me tear up, I think it changes the context because Nani knows that Lilo and her are going to be separated, but Lilo doesn't know anything. Like, she doesn't think anything's happening. She doesn't know that there's like this looming threat of being separated, which is different from the cartoon. And I think that's where it's fucked up. And then the introduction of like the portal gun, they're trying to make it like okay, right? Like, oh, Nani's gonna see Lilo, like she's gonna come back and forth and back and forth. And it's just like, okay, but like, I don't know, that just kind of seems like a cop out. But I think what that was meant to represent was the people from Hawaii and in Hawaii that live on the continent that frequently come home, and they're here, they're back, they're here, they're back. And if we had a portal gun to see our loved ones, that would be amazing. Like, if we all had a portal gun to be able to see each other. But it's a 5 to 6 hour flight from LA. And we all, unfortunately, don't have a portal gun. But yeah, I'm not here to defend CPS, to defend Nani's decision to surrender Lilo. But I am here to add a little bit more nuance to what they were trying to say through it. Well, what I think they were trying to say through it. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I think they should have, I don't know, they could have like done it differently. They could have like, I think they tried to show that Tutu was like, trying to help Nani and Lilo on the daily. Like, they were a part, that's why she was the one that took her to go get Stitch and all of that. And like, she's on doing errands with her. But I think the concept of Hanai family gets lost and it's not fleshed out more. And then what's like a little bit more fucked up is that she only, like, that arrangement is only made after all of the shenanigans, like after all of that had happened. Because prior to like Lilo going missing, where would she have gone? Like, would she have gone to like strangers? And like, weird. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now. There's a lot more to say about Lilo and Stitch, but that's just my 2 cents for now.